You know, it's just occurred to me we really haven't had a completely successful test of this equipment.
I blame myself.
So do I.
Well, no sense worrying about it now.
Why worry? Each of us is wearing an unlicensed nuclear accelerator on his back.
Yeah. Now let's get ready. Switch me on. I don't think you're crazy.
Back on.
What is up, Ghost Heads? It's another edition of the Ghost Heads radio show. My name is Ted, aka Steady. Joining me on this fantastic Friday night is our fearless leader from the San Antonio team, Rob.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
And from the Ghostbusters Texas Rangers division, our buddy, Nick.
Hi.
We
y'all
got a
doing?
lot to talk about, and a week ago from today, some of us and others from across the state of Texas in Ghostbuster chapters were all converging on San Antonio for what was a very unexpected big weekend, because the boss man himself from Zetamore Industries,
Mhm.
Ernie Hudson, was in town, and we are going to be talking all about it. We also have some footage that you might have missed regarding a very special announcement that involved Ernie Hudson. And then later on in the show, we're going to be talking about the Ghostbusters Texas Rangers division, all the cool things that they're doing, as well as we had a raffle that was part of the fundraiser from last weekend to give away this little guy, Pukey. We're going to find him a home tonight. So if you were one of the ones who donated to the cause last weekend, we were putting everybody's name in a hat, and we're going to draw it out. And thank you to everybody who participated and donated. And we're going to find Pukey a great home. Not only is he going to find a great home, but Pukey was also signed by the boss man himself. So Ernie Hudson's autograph is on Pukey's backside. And
on his backside. Okay.
and we're gonna find him a nice home. So if you're in the chat, say what's up. Also, we have just a ton of groups to thank, because not only were the Texas Rangers in town, but we had 10 other teams that
It
drove
was
all the way
10
to San
total.
Antonio.
I went from 7 to 10. Wow.
It was actually 11
Wow.
total, including us. I have the whole list over here. I'm going to pull it up here in a second. But we have so many teams to thank. Just overall, unbelievable weekend. And yeah, it's fantastic. Gentlemen, we'll just start off kind of slow here. You've had a week to recover, and just all the Ghostbusters that you saw in person, all the teams from across Texas that came down. Just what do you guys just most appreciate or most think about from last weekend? Rob?
I still have to take it back that I think that was probably the largest Ghostbuster group in Texas ever to get involved. I mean, we've had Ernie come before. He's not a stranger to San Antonio. We're lucky that Boswell, he brings him in. They're good friends, so we get to meet him pretty often, and we always reach that hand out to everybody to come. But everybody decided to come on this visit, so it was really good.
Very last minute too, which
Yes,
was impressive.
we knew like a week before. We knew a couple days before we told everybody that this was happening.
Right.
So, very last minute, it was really great that everybody just dropped and came. I mean, 11 different groups to just come meet him in the state of Texas. It was awesome. I mean, I loved meeting everybody. I just wish we had more time. I wish we could have
Yeah.
put better. That was the only thing is because it would have been really awesome to have 11 teams show up one place after to
Hmm.
just hang out. I love
Hmm.
getting out with people that are like-minded like me. So it was so nice, and I got to meet so many new people. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Chris
Put
from
faces to franchises and whatnot. Yeah.
yeah, it's a bunch of different franchises I've never met before, and reaching, and it was so great that they were like, "Come visit, come do this, let's do that," and I hope we made a whole, just expand our family is basically what we did. So
100%. And a few folks in the chat. Melissa, how's it going? And Val, who actually came over from the Bayou City team and gave me a fantastic.
oh yeah, this one I got.
Yes, there it is. Where's mine?
Yeah,
Here it
yeah.
is. Seriously, like I I I'm always like just amazed on the design skills of some of these teams. This looks so official and I love it. I think it's fantastic. So what's up to you guys? Thanks for joining us. Um Val, and for anybody else who attended last weekend, tell us your favorite part. It might be meeting Ernie, of course, but like specifically, what was it about meeting him, or what were you able to do, or what did you get autographed? We would love to get thoughts from everybody in here. So yeah, appreciate that. So yeah, I did count 11 teams total, and I would I would agree it's probably the largest that we've ever seen anywhere in the state of Texas. I would imagine, and we've had some pretty good sized events, the Ernie Hudson Afterlife screenings that we were doing. We had 4 or 5 teams there. When we did the Frozen Empire screening up in Austin, I think we had 4 teams there, but a lot of folks participated. That was really cool. And to give a little bit of a backstory, we did know a little bit, and we were trying to get the promoters. I wish we could take full credit for bringing Ernie to town, but it was the actual Puppy Food Bank that brought him. So shout out to
Yeah.
the bank. And we were trying to get them to tell us what days, what times, and what location. It's just I need to know that way I can spread the word. I didn't tell them that part though. I needed to know so I could spread the word to all the teams across Texas because, like Rob said, it was kind of last minute, but we wanted to give the teams as much time to plan and organize and coordinate as possible. Some of you guys drove 4 or 5 hours, absolutely incredible, especially
Longer than that.
Yes.
exactly right. Oh yeah, I mean yeah, the Lubbock teams.
The Lubbock team came from way, way far away. So
Oh yeah, Lubbock, San Angelo, like a lot of these teams, they came down, but I think they all had a blast. So Nick, tell us about your experience. We've been lucky enough to hang out with you a few times in the last 12 months, but
yeah, man.
just tell us about your experience as well as the team that you brought down. How did everything go for everybody?
Everything turned out pretty well, I'd say. We I had the idea shortly after we formed our franchise, because I noticed there's always Facebook groups and similar things for like franchises worldwide and everything like that. But I didn't notice anybody really doing state specific groups for, because a lot of the bigger states, especially like California and us and other states like that, have a lot of franchises all over the state. And I just had an idea one day to start a group with an updated map of just Texas, you know, and I pulled a lot of the information from that worldwide map that they did. I forget which teams had put it together, but they were amazing for doing that.
Yeah.
Pulling, everybody from across the nation to put them on one big high res map, and I used that as a starting point, and I just kind of did my own little spin on it, and I started contacting everybody locally from what I knew from way back in the day, from like the early 2000s on up until now. Like, are you guys still around? Are you guys still a thing? Are you guys still active? Because if you are, then I'm going to put you on the map. If not, forever hold your peace. And there's a few of them that dropped off the face of the earth, and there's a few of them that are still around even to this day. And yeah, I said I'm putting together a group, and I just thought it would be cool if all of us were a part of a group that's just Texas, and we can coordinate events together, and obviously the theory proved fairly correct, because we pulled off something last minute where we had 11 different franchises show up for last weekend, and that's the whole reason why I thought of making that group to begin with, was so that word can get spread as fast as possible for something like that,
Yeah.
and everybody can get involved, and everybody can come together and enjoy the brotherhood that is Ghostbusters, and spend some time with Boss Man himself and everything, and I love just being there to support. You know, I love that's kind of the purpose of what we do, is to back up uh worthy causes, charitable causes and stuff like that. Because don't get me wrong, I love dressing up as a Ghostbuster, absolutely do. But at the same time, I'd like there to be some meaning behind it, because I feel like it's just stroking my own ego if I'm just going out there just to be like, hey, look at us, that sort of thing. I feel like there needs to be a purpose behind it, what we do, and how we take care of business and everything. So yeah, when I found out he was doing something for Puppy Food Bank, it's funny, our franchise was talking about doing something locally for animal shelter here in the DFW area. That William, one of our members who came down with us to the event, was cooking up and everything. So when I threw this out there after Ted had brought it, he was like, "Yeah, let's go." And I was like, "Let's go, yeah, let's go," because he's been wanting to do stuff for pets for a while, and with me being how many do we have now, honey? 5 cats with a
All
5 cat
right.
dad. Yeah, myself. Yeah, anything doing that has to do with animals, I'm absolutely behind, because they're our kids. A lot of us who don't have human children, those are our children. So you know what I mean. So, but yeah, it was a really good weekend. I was still just getting over, still to this day, getting over whatever this junk has been going around
It's horrible.
this state right now. My cough is coming in off and on like I had COVID again. I had swollen lymph nodes underneath my armpits, which I never had before. And the first time I felt it, I was freaking out and looked over to my fiance and I'm dying. I'm dying. Something's wrong. And
Oh my god.
yeah, whatever crud has been going around this state, that made it a little difficult last weekend, but I soldiered through it, and I work night shift now, so it's like I have to reset my sleep clock whenever we have stuff going on the weekends, which is
Yeah,
always
it's
fun.
rough.
It's pretty rough. When you're 41, you can't do that stuff anymore. When you were 16, you could stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning, stay up the whole night, go to school the next day, and you'd be like, I'm all right, I'm fine. I'll have a couple sodas, I'll be fine. crash out at the end of the day. You do that now, you're going to pass out in the middle of the floor, and they're going to have to call you an ambulance.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
but yeah, it was a great event. So many faces I've never even seen before from different franchises. Very nice to see them all come together collectively. Good to see so many different, patches represented and everything that were there. And all there for a good cause, primarily, you know. Of course, to rub elbows with the boss, but because
Well, you mentioned it earlier, and you said it so eloquently. It's giving it meaning, and it's I tell folks, and I was talking with chapters that weekend. You know, for some reason, Ghostbusters putting on a flight suit, it's so easy to make it synonymous with like charitable giving and community service.
it feels that way.
Once Yeah, once you put on the flight suit, it's like, cool. Now who can we help? Like that's the first thing we think about. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's on. What
I
good
think the
stuff are we doing
parallels,
today?
yeah, yeah. I think the parallels with that is because it was, um, if you heard it from Ray and Egon, and not so much Venkman. From Venkman, it was so their franchise rights could make them rich beyond their wildest dreams. But if it was coming from Ray or Egon, it would be, we're providing a service
Yeah,
to the general public. Nobody should have to go to bed scared, or nobody
yeah,
should have to deal with something going on in their house that they're too afraid to deal with themselves. So when you think of it this way, they it was scientific research and providing a community service at the same time. And I think that's the part that resonates the most with us, is that we realize we, by cosplaying them, decide to provide a community service, even though it's a fictional community service, but we find a way to make it a real community service by doing stuff for charities and whatnot.
And,
So
100%.
so that's one thing about Ernie, and we have, he'll come out and he'll tell, hey, these guys, they do good. You go to your local chapter. He talks about that,
He gets it.
and he gets it. Yeah, yeah. Even so, so I know we're not talking about Bill, but when I met Bill last year, and he shook my hand and came up to me and said, "Man, I really like what you guys are doing," and touched me on the shoulder and was like, "So they get it. I mean, they get we're out there helping the different causes and
mhm.
doing more than just putting a flight suit on and for Halloween. We're out."
I've seen behind the scenes videos too, where Dan and Ernie are talking to each other about how they're just so impressed with all of us across the nation, uh, coming together and doing what we do, um, for charity and whatnot. No, I'm going to shut up. You were talking, I interrupted. I apologize.
No, no, you're good. You're good. No, it's amazing. Like we had the press conference. I might go ahead. Sorry, Ted. Press conference on Monday where he came out and
Mhm.
asked her, and so I got with the team. I was like, okay, the boss man's backing this up. This is like his charitable thing. We do have something that we raise awareness for throughout the year, but
Mhm.
do we switch gears? Do we help him, go towards what he's asking us to do as well? And so that
He's the
was,
boss.
yeah, yeah. So that was a question for us. Like, do we help? I mean, because Puppy Food Bank just isn't in San Antonio; it's all over the United States.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and from what we understand, he might be traveling throughout the states. So
For
to
Puppy Food Bank.
promote this. So hopefully, they're going to see what they can do with him backing them out. And if they do, that's awesome. And there might be other opportunities for other Ghostbuster groups to get involved and help him out, push this out and help, raise money for puppies. And
Absolutely.
so yeah, we were like trying to figure out what what we should do on that. We kind of tabled it, but that was
I mean, isn't that similar to what they did to y'all with the toy drive too? Like, Sony just kind of came out in the middle of left field out of nowhere and was like, "Hey, can y'all do a holiday toy drive?" Like with y'all having 3 months left to do it, or not even 2 months left to do it, or something like
You're
that.
100%. It was like I think it was like 3 weeks, maybe.
Wow. Okay, I was
It
overestimating.
was this. Yeah, this was what 4 years ago. Sony says, "Hey, wouldn't it be great if chapters put on a toy drive?" And Rob and I were talking about doing a toy drive,
Right.
so it 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 lit a fire under our chapters behind, and I'm sure it did
Hmm.
for everybody else. And I showed Rob the tweet. I think it was a tweet, and I was like, Rob, we don't have a choice now.
Really
Sony's call,
don't, like, if Sony's
Sony's
calling it
made the
down,
call.
you know,
Yeah.
you're like, oh no, parent company says we got to do it. That means we got to do it.
So
Because I
now,
mean, they let us get away with everything. You know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? Like we're running around with blatantly. I mean, I don't like to say stolen, but I mean that's basically what it is. Like all of us who've ever built a replica proton pack has stolen everything from the prop departments from these
Yep,
films and everything, and the original designers, and they don't care. You know what I mean?
yep.
They let us do it. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm saying there needs to be a meaning behind it. You know what I mean? Because if we're just doing it for flash and pizzazz, eventually you're gonna get hit with cease and desists for it. So you know.
Yeah.
So
It gives it more meaning, but it gives us all a. It's kind of weird saying it like this. It gives us all a purpose.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's not that we need a purpose, but we definitely want one, and it's
Hmm.
allowing us to live through our passion of the franchise and better our communities. And I did ask this exact question to Ernie at his press conference. Had a little bit of a one-on-one time, so I got to ask him, like, why is it so synonymous with charitable giving and community service? And he
Hmm.
actually talked about it. So if I have time, I'll kind of post what he mentioned. Also, so if you're just joining us, I'm going to get to the chat here in like 2 seconds. If you're just joining us, we're going to show the coverage from the press conference where Ernie Hudson was announced as the newest ambassador for the Puppy Food Bank, which is a national charity organization. And there may be additional opportunities to see Ernie now that he is the new ambassador. And I have a very special treat for everybody who participated in the Ghostbusters toy drive. So I'm going to
Oh.
tease that now, and we'll get to that
Oh.
in a second. Melissa says my son got a Lego minifigure of Winston sign. I actually saw that when you got it done, and my daughter got a Funko Pop sign. That's fantastic. Val says getting my Ecto 713 and a picture with the real Ecto One. Yes, there's a beautiful Ecto One replica that the local promoter for San Antonio Conventions has,
Hmm.
and he's actually going to be auctioning it off very soon. He's
Really?
Yeah, I don't know how
Might
much
have
it's
to
gonna
tell a couple of my members with money. Not really.
good.
Probably
I
still
was gonna
can't
say,
afford it.
I don't know how much it's gonna go for because it's signed by half the cast, so
Oh, it's going to be a ridiculous amount of money then.
that might up
So
it just a little bit. Val
it's
says
just,
Lubbock drove 6 hours. Shout out to the Lubbock team. Why don't we just give a quick shout out right now to everybody? The Austin Ghostbusters, Yellow Rose Ghostbusters, with Alex Spence, the great Alex Spence out of Yellow Rose team. The Lubbock Ghostbusters who drove 6 hours, amazing guys.
mhm.
Texas Rangers division,
Oh, hi.
the the Gateway City Ghostbusters out of Laredo. Shout out to the
Gateway
Laredo
showed up
team.
too?
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that. That's
I
awesome.
must have missed them. They must have been there either Friday or Sunday.
Let's see here.
They,
The North Texas Ghostbusters, those guys, they were absolutely amazing. The Bayou City Ghostbusters, the real West Texas Ghostbusters.
Who has
Uh,
one of the sickest patches in the game?
yeah, yeah.
yes, the Recto One Ghostbusters,
Oh, Recto
and
one was there. I missed him too.
On Sunday, he
He
came
he
Sunday.
was there. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it because
Uh,
he's got something in the works. And the San Antonio team, that's 10. I'm
that is
saving
10.
the last one was Cedric out of the Houston Ghostbusters team. I'm gonna talk about Cedric right now. I don't know if he's watching this, but it's Sunday. It's the final day to meet Ernie. It's like getting down to the last. 10 minutes. They've already
Wow.
cut the line off because
Hmm.
you saw he signed from start to finish.
Yeah, he sure
Uh,
did.
yeah, little to no breaks. The line was long the entire time.
Ernie's a
So
soldier,
they
honestly.
cut the line off. It's me and a couple of our members were at the very end. It's actually me and two Chris's at the very end of the line. We're just gonna get one final goodbye with Ernie, and then in walks this immaculate looking Ghostbuster, and I immediately see the Houston patch on his arm, and they held him back, and they're like, "Sorry, we're done." And I saw
Dang,
his
man.
I saw his patch, so I run over to the door and I said, "Listen, I understand what you're doing and cutting the line off. He just drove from Houston, and I let him know like he came all the way from Houston. You know, he probably got here just like seconds ago, like no stopping or anything. I was like, if there's any chance you could let him in, I know he would appreciate it a lot. So lo and behold, they let him through, and it made his
That's
trip all
awesome.
worth it. So shout out to Cedric who made it at the buzzer. Seriously, like
Right?
10 more minutes, Ernie's already gone on a flight or just back to his hotel actually. So shout out to Cedric there.
That's a real
Melissa
good
Hannah says,
story, too.
"Yo, Nick."
Hi, Melissa.
Hashtag Terry. The Sioux Empire's in the house. Val says 41 is still young. You were talking about your sleep schedule.
It doesn't, the spirit still feels very young. The body, not so much.
All right, I'm going to brag about one of the guys in the chat right now. Pac-Man's in the chat. Paxton Chrissy. And this is from Bryce, who's in the chat right now, saying, "Hey guys, Bryce here from the Sioux Empire Ghostbusters." Bryce, I was wearing this in front of Ernie, and he said he literally caught his eyes, like, "What on earth is that?" And I said, "Oh, this is actually made by one of our friends from the Sioux Empire team. He makes these through his Etsy,
Is
and
that the
he
caution stripe braided
Yeah,
bracelet?
it
That's
is. It
cool.
is. It is the it's a parachute
parachute cord.
cord. Yeah, parachute cord,
It's
and
pretty
he
cool.
absolutely loved it. So you got a big you impressed the boss man, Bryce, massively. He loved it, and he loved that you customize them by putting our chapter's logo on there. It's hard to see, but Ernie absolutely loved it. So you have a fan. If you can make him one, I'm sure we can find a way to get it to him. Or at least we'll find out the next time he's doing a meet and greet, and we'll make sure that he needs one of these with, just an OG Ghostbusters
Wouldn't be
logo on
that
it.
hard. I
That'd
don't
be
think.
amazing.
Wouldn't be that hard.
Val says come to Houston. We have to make some plans. Pack says, hell yeah, we would trade for him to come out as a guest and we would promote his charity.
While
Bryce
we're on the slight
agrees.
subject of logos and custom stuff, I figured I might just throw this out there as a Ghost Heads Radio exclusive.
Ooh, dun,
First
dun,
look.
dun.
First look. And this is the only time we're going to publicly share this between now and when it's actually available. But for our second anniversary, we have our
Oh,
own GB2 version of our logo. For our second year anniversary, it's going to be GB2 themed everything because it's going to be our second year. So we're all working on new suits, getting new patches made and everything. And I have that shirt. That shirt's available on our T Public store right now, even though our anniversary is until May 31st of this year, but it's still there. So yeah, first look at that shiny new logo. We haven't popped that out anywhere yet, but yeah, we're all excited for the second anniversary and all the stuff we got planned. So
If anybody is curious on getting their own Texas Rangers Division T-shirt, let me know. I'll go grab the link while you guys are talking about how amazing it is, and I will throw it in the chat here in a few minutes.
yeah, Nick, I gotta get me one of those patches. One of your members owed me one because they came to me and got one of ours, which I don't trade very often.
I
And
owe our own members some of our patches, and I even brought them to the event this weekend and kept telling them, remind me, remind me, remind me, and drove all the way back and forgot to give it to them. So, so don't feel bad because I'm such a I space it when it comes to stuff like that. So yeah, I mean we've still got a decent amount of patches. Melissa's been trading pretty hardcore with other franchises, even worldwide, with our
she's like,
patches and stuff. So.
"Come on, let me have one." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, okay." You can't say no.
She has a whole album, CD case album that she's been putting patches in and stuff. She's starting a pretty hardcore collection. She wants everybody's patch basically. So
I love it. I love it. It's everybody's doing it. It's the right thing to
right.
do. We had a couple of patches and a couple of cards as well, business cards, which
Mhm.
I think we need to make some more because we completely ran out of ours.
You
Uh,
burn through those things so fast, like you don't think you will, and you just zap through them in no time.
they
500.
go quick. Medris is in chat saying Ernie was so nice and very chill. Melissa Hannah says a sense of purpose. Bryce loving the bracelet. Hey, Farmer Ted, says Medrith. Terry says helping makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Cedric, there he is. Look at him. Shout out to the Puppy Food Bank guy that let me in when we had already closed the line at 3:45 on Sunday, coming from Houston, Ghostbusters. Shout out to Ced.
I'm
Yes,
glad you made
sir.
it, bro. I'm glad you pulled it up at the last minute and still got something. That's what the whole idea of the community coming together for those type events is all about. Like, we see one of our own showing up last minute, hold everything, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're so happy, man, that you made it. And like I mentioned, if you would have saw him walk in, he looked the part straight off the screen. I was just like, oh my god, look at this guy.
Did he have a pack
He
on?
spent time making sure everything looked just perfect because he knew he was going to
Mm.
see the boss man.
Was he wearing a pack?
Oh, everything.
Man, because I'm just thinking about the scramble he did to get out of the car and get all the equipment on as fast as possible. And I'm like, I know he was sweating. I know he was sweating after getting all that on.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Hey,
All
Ted,
right. So I'm going to get to the chat again, but I am also going to put the Texas Rangers Division T Public link into the chat. So
Oh, thank you.
if
Appreciate it.
anybody's curious or interested, you know, reach
We
out
got a
if you
bunch
have.
of different versions of our logo on there, including one that I'm particularly proud of is our Dia de los Muertos logo that I designed, I think last year or the year before. Yeah. Because I wanted to do something for Halloween, but that wasn't Halloween. That was very Texan and also very Hispanic and everything. And I was like, well, why don't I do a Dia de los Muertos logo? Because I saw them do a wreath for it for Afterlife. And that was like the only time you ever saw that particular type of that logo was that wreath for the promotion they did in Mexico.
oh
And they
yeah,
had the marigolds and the skeleton version of Moogly. And I
cool.
was like, you know what? I want to do our own version of that. And I was sitting there contemplating how to do it and everything. And I wanted to do the skeleton Moogly, but I also wanted to do more than just marigolds. And then I was like, what if I change the star colors to Mexican flag colors instead of so it's green, white, and red instead of red, white, and blue. So but yeah, I was particularly proud of that logo. Sorry, went off on a tangent.
No, you're completely fine. And I'm actually sharing the page right now. I had to put the link in a
Oh,
second
from our
time.
website? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it wouldn't take the Teespring link in the chat, but it'll take
Hmm.
the merch page in the chat. So T Public on the left side, and it looks great. You have so
Thank
many
you.
great things on there. The engineer logo looks fantastic with your
Oh
guys'
yeah.
name
We
on it.
just
I
got those
love that.
printed on a bunch of stickers from Alex. He works at UT Makerspace in Arlington. And he's like, I can print a bunch of stickers for you. He's boy printed a huge sheet of stickers, 3-inch stickers, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing." I told him, I said, "I hope you understand how much I'm going to abuse your privileges at that college with your access to the makerspace, because I'm going to make you make all the things for us." So, but
I
yeah,
love it. I love it. Let's see here. Yep, Bryce says, "Holy cow, would love to make Ernie Hudson a bracelet." Yep, he digs it. I told him I'd let you know, so here I am letting you know. Let's see.
we
Melissa
got a
says,
lot of good group photos from last weekend.
We did. We did.
tremendous, and I would love to know exactly how many showed up, because we did say 11 teams, but it was staggered, right? Like some showed up on Friday, mostly on Saturday, and then another handful on Sunday. So if we add them all together, maybe I'll just reach out to every team and see how many they brought, and we can find out, because it's probably close to like 60 or maybe 75 total team
People?
members from all these chapters.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, and I might have missed some because I went by looking. I started looking at pictures and looking for like logos and shirts. And
Yeah.
trying to remember like who I talked to. So we may have more than 11 that showed up that I just didn't catch.
How many franchises? I don't even remember how many franchises we have in the state. I want it's under 20, but it might be around 20-ish now, because I do my best to try and keep up, you know.
Well, there's 3 in El Paso for sure. There's one more in Houston, so that's 4 more. And then East Texas has 1. So that's
You got
5.
2 south of us near Galveston. There's 2 of them down there.
Oh yeah, the RGB group. Yeah.
I,
Real.
Uh-huh.
I thought we might have seen one of them come up here from the RGV team, but I don't remember seeing anyone, unfortunately.
There's 2 in DFW. There's San Antonio and Austin.
That didn't come. I think there's an Amarillo group of them, right?
West Texas.
I think there's about 20.
Thereabouts. It sounds about right. Yeah. So we got a little over half of Texas's franchises to show up. That's
That's good.
pretty
It's a
cool.
That's remarkable.
big state. I mean, that's a lot of traveling.
Yeah, it is. As big as this state is.
Bryce, you're asking to get a wrist measurement. I will see if we can figure that out. If not, I mean, his wrist can be too much bigger than mine. I don't know if you still have.
I don't know. Ernie's got some beefcake arms, so
Well,
Yeah, you're probably right.
I have one. I wonder what size mine is. And if it can fit me and be loose, then it should fit him.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get you an answer. Right now, he's on the San Diego Comic-Con cruise ship, with a
he
handful
is
of other
staying
celebrities.
busy.
He's a busy guy, so I won't bother him anytime soon. But
Yeah,
I'll see if I can find out something next week. But if anybody who was lucky enough to get a ticket, he's on the Comic Con cruise, which is fantastic. It's the first time ever trying it. They're already selling tickets for next year's Comic Con cruise, and I can't just he needs. I mean, he needs the relaxation. I know him and his family have gone through a lot with the California fires that happened last month. So
did he have property that got affected by that?
he did not, but I know that he had family that did.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And
Yeah.
on that note, Ted, I really like to thank his wife because his wife was a trooper. Like,
Oh yeah.
Linda Kingsburg, I believe is her name. Everything we saw her this weekend, she was with him. I mean, like he was out and she was right next to him, hanging out with him. And I want to say thanks for her being a trooper.
For sure.
That too. It's nice when you can be with your husband and wife do that. And so
On the note of the fires as well, the Los Angeles Ghostbusters just recently surpassed their fundraising goal for the California Fire Foundation, over $5,000. I don't know what the total's at now, but it's over $5,000 now.
It's amazing.
New York came out of nowhere. and one other franchise, and they both donated a total of a cumulative of over $2,000 towards it, and I think that helped push them over the edge. We shared that particular uh, charity run that they were doing on our page a few times as well, because we wanted to put the word out there as fast as possible as soon as we heard about it. Because yeah, I mean, we were discussing as a group at one point, like, what can we do? You know, uh,
You know,
or
you think about that stuff, and we had really bad floods in Houston a few years ago.
hmm hmm
I remember the Houston Ghostbusters wearing flight suits and being out there with shovels and picking up debris and like doing their community service and doing everything they could. And they did in gear. I mean, that was the biggest thing. Like they had flight suits and they're out there helping people. Like,
yeah, it's our uniforms, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's like it's what we do. You know,
Yeah, not costumes for those that are out there saying, "Hey, nice costume." It's not a
it's
costume,
not a
sir.
costume; it's a uniform.
It is a uniform.
You know,
Got to correct him on that. Cedric says, "I need to send Ernie a print of my latest painting I did, a Ghostbuster themed acrylic work. Y'all should check it out." Yes, we
for
do.
sure.
If you can, if you're on either the franchise's Facebook group page, send it there. Or if you're watching us, you should be able to message me a picture through the channel. So
Are
we-
they from Texas?
yeah,
Yeah, you
that,
can post that up in Ghostbusters franchises of Texas and share
there
that,
you
and
go.
I'm sure they can get that around.
Absolutely, yeah. That's Cedric with the Houston team there.
hmm
I don't have an Etsy. I just do these by word of mouth. I would be happy to commission one for you, says Bryce. Val says I gave him a franchise T-shirt. Yes,
There
and
you go.
hopefully his muscles stand out in that one, right? Pika says I saw someone from Austin, and Bryce
Yeah,
says
there
if
was a
any of you
few.
guys want one, I sure would love to commission a few for all of you. I just need wrist measurements without Slack. Get a hold of me through Facebook, and we can chat about it. Yeah, here I am
Okay.
plugging Bryce's amazing bracelets. Right, look,
I've seen a few of those around. I haven't seen them super everywhere. Again, probably because, like he says, he doesn't have an Etsy and he just makes them by word of
yeah.
mouth. But I've seen a few of those, and I thought to myself, oh, those are pretty cool. No,
Yeah, and he could put the chapter's logos on them, and
that's cool.
it's so durable. I really don't think it's ever. I mean, knock on wood here, but it's so durable. Like I've had this for over a year now, maybe 2 years, and it still holds true, and it still works fantastic. So yeah. Let's see here. All right. I know we're getting a little long in here, so I'm going to go ahead and if anybody wants to, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Ernie Hudson Puppy Food Bank fundraiser event. Ernie is a new brand ambassador for the Puppy Food Bank, which is a fantastic organization that gives food free of charge to rescue shelters as well as families that adopt dogs or puppies and at no cost to them either. So it's all about giving food where it is needed for shelters that rescue dogs. Only no kill
Excuse me.
shelters because that's a big emphasis on those shelters, as well as families that rescue dogs. Our family is a rescue dog family. We actually rescued two dogs. One of them who we lost last year,
Oh,
but he lived a
that's unfortunate.
long, happy, healthy life. He was close to 15 when he passed. And he was the
I mean,
absolute
that's best way.
yeah.
So
And we miss him dearly. And we still have our other rescue dog, who she's she's a pain, but we love her still. So yes, all of this was to raise money for the charity organization. So Ernie came out. He did a meet and greet for 3 days. All the chapters came down. We raised money ourselves by raffling off this guy with the San Antonio team. We're gonna announce the winner here a little bit later in the show, And then Ernie himself gave his own check to the organization. So not only is he the
Oh,
brand
really?
ambassador,
Nice.
not only did he help raise funds all weekend long, and I'll tell the San Antonio folks, you can still go to Rudy's Barbecue restaurants and donate. And when you donate, there's you get a reward, you get an incentive, you get free food and free drinks for your following visit. So go do that. Yeah, so that's what it was all about. It's raising money, and then he wrote a check and gave his own funds to the organization as well. So for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, would like to share with everyone the press conference video. And here it's about 6-7 minutes, but
okay, good
here we
morning.
go.
My name is Bob Wills. I was the founder, along with my wife, of Puppy Food Bank 3 years ago, and it's amazing how far we've come in 3 years, from helping one nonprofit pet rescue to provide their food. We're now helping and assisting 30 nonprofit pet rescues around the country. One big distinction for what we do is we only assist pet rescues that are no kills. Unfortunately, over 700,000 dogs a year are euthanized. Dogs and little puppies like you see here. That's no way to live in a society. If you look at animals, I don't care, lions, tigers, they protect them even in Africa. Sure, there's some people who go hunting, they shouldn't be, but animals bring a lot to our life. I know, we have 5 dogs in our family, and they are like family. And most people who have them, they're treated like children. They bring us joy, and sometimes they're easier than children, as I would say that. So thank you for coming here. Over the years, the Puppy Food Bank has grown from being local, as I said, to expanding to national. We do an awful lot in Texas, and I'm going to ask our executive director, Danielle Gunter, to say a few words before we introduce you to the latest Puppy Food Bank Pet Ambassador. Danielle?
Thank you, Bob. I'm not sure if when Bob and Peggy started this organization, if they could have foreseen how many lives they were changing and how many rescues they were helping by being able to relieve that financial burden from them. When this organization started, we were, as Bob mentioned, we were here in San Antonio and expanded across the state of Texas. As the applications started coming in from all across the country and donors from all across the country, we knew that we had to do more. In April of 24, when we expanded nationally, as Bob mentioned, we are now serving more than 30 no-kill pet rescues. We saved more than 3,200 pet lives last year by feeding dogs and cats with the rescues that we support. And we've distributed since inception over 500,000 pounds of dog and cat food. It is a tremendous effort, and we couldn't do it without the community support, without the donors, and of course, without our national pet ambassadors. As many of you know, John O'Hurley has been with us since the beginning, and we're very excited today to be able to introduce a brand new pet ambassador. Somebody who knows who to call when pets are in need, but also somebody who is an advocate for pets himself. With that, I would like to introduce Ernie Hudson.
Hey, I'm so excited to be pet ambassador. I was very thankful. My wife and I are very thankful that Bob Wills and Peggy asked us to come aboard. Pets, they just give us so much. It's such a part of our lives, and I think a lot of times we take them for granted. And I also realize that we think of all the things that need to be done, but most of us are a little bit lost in terms of how we can help and what we can do. And when an opportunity comes along that where we can support those who are actually doing the hard work. Bob has 5 dogs. I was talking to a good friend this morning, he has 6 dogs. I have 1, and that's enough for me. But for those out there rescuing the dogs and making sure they can live a good life, we really want to support them, and that doesn't take a lot. It really takes a committed contribution. And so I'm just happy to bring attention any way that I can, and I'm also very happy to look over to my left here and I see the San Antonio Ghostbusters. You know, there are Ghostbuster chapters in just about every major city around the world, and these guys do a lot of charitable work, and they really support their communities. As a original Ghostbuster, I'm so proud of them and all the ones, but I'm really so proud that they've come aboard to support these animals and to be a part of the Puppy Food Bank. It just means a lot. So thank you all. I'm so happy to have been asked. Thank you.
Thank you. Ernie, it's official. You are now a Puppy Food Bank Pet Ambassador. Give it up, folks.
You mean I'm just now official? Oh, thank you.
Well, and you all will start seeing Ernie appearing in some PSAs for fundraising as we ask people to make donations. You know, $11, $15, or whatever you'd like to give a month. And I'm sure it's going to work very effective. Thank you for your assistance. Right now, folks, we have a big fundraiser going on that Ernie participated with, Rudy's Barbecue. This month, when you buy a $10 voucher, you get a $22 value voucher of $15 of barbecue and 2 large drinks worth $22. We'll be having that going on through Sunday, March 16th. So make it out to Rudy's, our favorite barbecue place, for Puppy Food Bank.
And also, I just want to say, I'm just not here as an ambassador. I'm also making my donation. So not just in words. So I'm encouraging all of those fans who watch anything that I enjoy, join me in making my small contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
We'll open up for any questions from the media that you'd like to make of Mr. Hudson. Ted?
Ernie, can you describe this past weekend's activities and the outpouring of the community and what it means to you to see everyone come out?
Well, you know, we were at Rudy's various locations, Rudy's Barbecue was there, and I was amazed at, I'm not sure what was announced, but people found us and came out, and it was sort of nonstop. People coming and supporting the Puppy Food Bank, and I was blessed to do my part, to sign autographs, to take photos or whatever, but I'm just so happy that, you know, for me, when it really comes down to, I realize how much love and support animals give to us is such a part of our lives, and like I said, I think sometimes we take it for granted, so it was just a great coming out of the community, and I'm just very proud to be here.
All right. There you have it. The press event that was that took place on Monday, the official announcement of Ernie as the brand ambassador. And I actually want to share the website with everybody in the chat. If you want more information, we're not only supporting the puppy food. I mean, Ernie, whatever Ernie does, all the teams are going to want to support, right? Anything he gets involved with.
Period.
So if you want to support Ernie further, the website for the Puppy Food Bank, very simple, puppyfoodbank.org. It's in the chat. If you want to donate, great. If you just want to spread the word, you know, spread the awareness of the organization, talk to folks about what they do and who they are, and tell everybody on your own social media channels, Ernie is now the Puppy Food Bank ambassador for this group. If you need an organization to assist with, you can assist one with Ernie Hudson himself. So the link is in the chat. Check it out. And I just saw he even donated from his own pocket. So he's that amazing. We have some other. I'm just gonna share some photos from the event, from the actual what's it called, the press conference event. We had a few folks there from our team that participated in it, and you saw just Ernie willing to give us a shout out. He doesn't have to. It's his moment. We're there for him, and yet he was willing to, kind of spread the wealth for us, and that was just fantastic.
It was very kind of him, not only mentioning San Antonio, but just saying he was appreciative of what all the groups nationwide and worldwide do in the name of the franchise. That was really nice.
He had a little fan in the crowd at the press conference who
That's
wanted to take a
cute.
photo with him. So of course he was willing to oblige. And then he said, "Let's take another picture, but let's get all the Ghostbusters in it this time." And he absolutely loved it. So he's just that special of a person. He really is.
He does a very good job of carrying the torch for the franchise now. So
1,000%. All right. I did tease earlier, and I'm hoping there's a lot of chapters still on the chat right now that participated in the toy drive, because there was something that I was meaning to do, and that was um, let Ernie know just what we all accomplished as one as a campaign across the U.S.
oh,
So I had a little one-on-one with him, and I was able to give Ernie the results of the Ghostbusters toy drive, and he had this to say. Check it out. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and reveal the 2024 Ghostbusters nationwide toy drive final count. Congratulations, Ghost Heads. 9,756 toys and an astonishing, a whopping $28,255. What does that mean to you that you've inspired groups like that to come up with that effort?
Well, being one of the original Ghostbusters in the original movies, now 5 movies later, and I see these Ghostbuster chapters springing up in, like I said, every major city around the world. It's incredible. I was just in Argentina. Ghostbusters from all across South America showed up when I was in Rome. So Ghostbusters are everywhere, but the more importantly, they've come together with a common cause to do charity work, to work in the community, and that's just amazing. I'm so honored that we're inspiring people to realize that we all have a responsibility and we can all do more. And the fact that Ghostbuster groups are leading the charge, and it means everything. I'm so appreciative to just be a part of that.
There you are, from the big boss man himself. His appreciation for everything that you guys did. Yeah. So now
appreciation and consider that marching orders as well.
absolutely. Duke says, "Isn't it too late for the Christmas theme?" You might have missed it. So we were letting Ernie know what the results were of our Christmas toy drive. He was not privy to that information. Not that I knew for sure, but I let him know this is what the teams did: 9,700 toys, $28,000, and that was his instant reaction, genuine reaction to hearing that those words right there. Holy crap! It's Winston himself. Yes, yes, it is. It's not too late for Christmas theme when it's all about what we did for Christmas. Picanos. Yeah. So shout out again to Ernie. Hopefully, he's relaxing on a beach somewhere, or
Huh.
the cruise ship is
In his room with a good
taking
drink
care of him.
for sure.
Let's see here.
I want to say one of the things that's the most uh, gratifying to me is to know that as an autistic person, for one, and just for as a Ghostbusters fan, on top of that, the fact that my obsession with this franchise uh, has been turned into a force of good, and the fact that we get to let them know that that silly little movie you guys made in 1984 that was the highest grossing film of that year and everything. Well, guess what? We're making a difference in the world now because of it.
Yeah.
Just thought you should know. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And I guess that's part of the reason why I'm poking you constantly, Ted, to get Dan to bring his butt down here. Because I'm sure he's heard it from 1,000 different people, but it's like it's one of my bucket list items to just look that man in the eye and tell him, I know you had a really crazy idea a very long time ago, and Harold had to kind of rein you in in order to get it made into an actual film. But that film you guys made such an impact on my life that I'm making a difference in other people's lives now because of it. And I'm sure you've heard that 1,000 times. But I want you to understand, like, if you've heard that 1,000 times, like, you're making a huge impact in the world. And I am beyond grateful to you for this wonderful, crazy idea that you had, you know.
Mhm.
But I digress.
One, I think, gonna well, never say never, right? I think if we all give it a shot, maybe we can try and get
Collectively poke him. Yeah.
collectively poke him, or just we'll
Yeah.
find a way. When there's a will, there is a way, and we'll definitely give it a shot to try and get Dan nearby somewhere. We
Mm.
talked about the YouTuber Recto earlier, and this is our
Yeah.
photo with him. He's actually got another project currently in development, and we can't wait to see what it turns out into. He's got, I don't remember what year it was. Do you remember, Rob, what year he's got?
No, he has a
62,
50.
maybe?
He had
No,
a 60 something, I think.
it's just because he's got a 60. Is it a 61? And he, like, I watched all his videos, and
He's been replacing, like, he replaced the whole front end, the whole front of the Cadillac he took off and replaced. I was like, this guy's
but
mad.
yes, he had. So he had one. It's called Recto because the first one got wrecked.
It got rolled off the trailer
Trailer when it
when
was,
the guy was transporting it to him.
and it
It was
was
wild,
had all the right windows, everything, and
right?
it crushed that one side of that Ecto, and it
Tragic.
he was able to pull some parts off of it, but then the one he got to replace that one. He's putting 59 fenders on it. He put up, like Nick said, he did the whole front end as a 59. And what's great about him is like he's doing it in his backyard. Like
Yeah, he really is.
I love that part. That's like one of my favorite parts. Is like anybody could do this. I mean, you gotta have the room. That's the thing. He does have the room because he's on a ranch, but anybody, if they have that dream to have that ecto, I think the hardest thing is just finding one. But as soon as you can get one,
Right.
I love watching his videos because
Like, yeah, like our friend here in the Dallas area, Kyle, with his Ecto, he got lucky enough to get a genuine 59 that he literally found in a barn. This gentleman, it was a handed down hearse from his father that he kept in a barn, came from a super shady looking website that was like barnfinds.com or something like that. He's telling me about this. He's like, dude, there's no way this is legit. His nephew brought it to him and was like, this is it. This is the car. And he was like, there's no way this is legit. There's no way. And he called the guy, and the guy was like, yeah, this is really here and everything. And we've never touched it. And it's been here for, and he's like, I take everything out of the bank right now. Let's go and get this car. And it's not the exact model 59, but it's close of rig enough. You
but
know what I mean? And he's still tweaking it.
he did a great job. I like. I watched his videos as well. I love how he did his fake windows with the vinyl and
Yeah, yeah. It just looks like tinted windows. Yeah.
because it doesn't have the real ones, but he's doing like it's like us having a I have a Ford Flex but I mean his
Hmm.
is than a Ford Flex, but I mean um it's just that creativity of be able to get to that next spot and maybe even
Right.
cut the windows out. And it's
We're
awesome.
real big fans of his car. He surprised me for the 40th. We were at Cinemark in Dallas, and for the 40th of Ghostbusters, they were just doing a showing of the original film for the 40th anniversary. And all of a sudden, we're out just hobnobbing. Uh, Middle of summer. I'm already dying in my khaki suit. I was sitting in the theater just sweating, sweating, sweating. And Russell knew what was going on. Russell, a member of ours, knew that Kyle was coming and didn't tell me anything. And he's like, "Let's go outside for a little while. Let's hobnob with the crowd." I was like, "There's not really a crowd here." I was like, "There's not really a crowd here yet, but okay, yeah, drum up some business for the theater, sure." And we go out there, and and I'm getting myself ready and situated, adjusting the pack on my back, and all of a sudden I hear, and I'm like, "Is that one of y'all's phones?" It's like, "One of y'all got a call. You want to pick that up?" And then it started getting progressively louder, and I was like, "Where's that coming from?" And Kyle whips around the corner of the parking lot in the Ecto, and I was like, "No!" I come walking up to him. I'm like, "What are you doing here, dude?" You know? He's like, "Oh, I heard there was a call." You know?
And
And
he
I was like, "That's awesome."
in his front yard. Like,
Yeah, he keeps the car in his front yard.
yeah,
And it's so funny because his original truck got stolen. His truck that he used to help tow that car around so all the events that he did and the events that he's done with us that he's been so generous as donating the time with his vehicle to, they took his truck right out of his driveway. I was like, "You got a 59 Cadillac over there and you took his truck?" Like, and yeah, they took it, and I guess by the time they had found it, it was completely stripped. They took everything off of that truck. Luckily, he found an even better truck that was a former emergency vehicle truck, which is awesome because it was white and it had, I think, some sort of stripes on it already. And he just was like, "Yeah, man, I can just like slap the logos on there and go with it." I was like, "That's awesome,
awesome.
dude." So yeah, that turned out pretty good for him. But I've been going on in a story about Kyle. Kyle's great. Just say that.
Kyle's great. And then Recto, I forget his name. What's his real name?
I met him a long time ago when I met Kyle for the first time at I believe it was Allcon in DFW. I forget his name, but yeah, that's when he first introduced me to his Ecto that he's been working on. And back then she was rough when he was still working on it. She still is kind of rough, but she's looking better every day. So
Oh, my favorite is he got those was like the super cans of white spray paint in one of the episodes.
yeah, the big long ones. You know
Long,
what I mean?
and he's like,
That's how Kyle did his. He rattle canned his whole 59.
Wow, that's
yeah,
one way to do it.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So I apologize for forgetting his name, but I told him to keep us in the loop on like your progress. We would love to hear about it, and we have some major parades that we are lucky to be a part of here in San Antonio. So
Right.
if somehow it aligns that he's done with it and can make one of these massive parades, and we would love for him to participate. So we'll see if there's a chance. It's in the hands of Gozer, and we'll see what happens.
Goes to be praised.
So I mean,
Melissa says,
Ted is talking about is our Fiesta parade that we do is the night parade, and it's the largest night parade in the United States.
Hmm.
8,000 people attend and watch it. Or not 80,000, 800,000 people attend and watch this parade.
That's
Every,
wild.
I mean, we did it last year, and walking that and hearing that many people yell Ghostbusters from those stands that are on both sides.
Right.
It's amazing. I mean, even though it's
Uh,
3 miles, like kill yourself afterwards after wearing
right.
50-pound pack on your back.
Oh, we've done the holiday parade 2 years now, and it's a chore. It's a chore getting through that sucker. And I think they said they had about 750,000 people there last year. So yeah, it's definitely an event for sure. I think yours is actually longer than the holiday parade. Because when didn't you say it was like 4 miles, Ted, or something like that?
So I like the route itself is like
Yeah.
2.5, close to 3, but the staging area is so
Oh yeah.
massive that it adds like an additional like half mile to the route. And so we were like, we got to include that too, because just to get to the route
Well,
is insane. And
and
so
not
yeah,
Right.
we were
it,
trying to guess like
not,
3.5 miles for ours.
it's not really the end when you get to the end because you still have to go back up the street to the staging area.
Jeez.
Last year we like all everybody on the trailer, and then we had to hit the brakes and people were flying off the trailer.
Wow.
It was fun. It was fun though. It was a good night.
It
The
was
holiday
fun.
parade, yeah, when we disperse, we just literally disperse, we just scatter. So,
We
yeah.
barely made it. All of us were second air by the end of it.
Oh yeah, you're
Val
dying. Your feet
says,
are barking.
Yeah.
"Oh yeah." Val says, "If you need an extra ecto, I'm available." We'll keep you in mind. This is one of those parades where like everything you want to do costs money, so we'll
Yeah.
keep you in mind. Val, we'll let you know. We'll talk. Scotty Eagle, the legend of our team, says, like I said, the adrenaline is what carries you. Scott
It
Eagle,
is.
who has a authentic like metal proton pack. It's 45
Oh,
pounds,
God
and
bless you, sir.
this
Yeah. Yeah.
legend walked that entire parade route with it on. And
That's some
I've
training
never
right
been
there.
more impressed with anything in my life. And Scotty says
Mine's
it was worth it.
mine's about 10 pounds less than his, I'd say, and yeah. I was
It's
regretting wearing the red parka this year
oh no.
and the pack and everything because was I like dying sweating? No, but it was just so cumbersome with the pack on. And I was sitting there thinking, how did you guys get through? Now I know why they cut all those scenes out because it was probably miserable for y'all wearing those uh, parkas with the packs on at the same time. Because Lord, yeah, doing a whole parade with it on, I was like, I'm never doing this again.
We're
That
gonna
parka's
need
staying home.
to get a hold of Jason or Gil and say, look, just put the deleted scene somewhere where we can see all the red parkas in action. There's got
Right?
to be something somewhere,
Director's cut, man.
Yeah.
right?
Even that whole scene where Paul's talking to him about what happened to the containment unit, and excuse me, Gruberson's talking to Venkman about what happened to the containment unit, and Venkman's just going on about what he does to get ready. Well, Ray usually hits the library, and Egon hits the lab, and I hit the club. You know, I shower and shave and hit the club. I was like, this is gold. Why did you leave this out, man? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know, pacing,
they should have left him in for sure.
Or at least let us see it all. Like,
right?
give us the
Like,
snips.
put all of it in there, all that B-roll. We want to
Yeah.
see all of it, you know.
Because you know someone's gonna make a fan edit, and they'll fix it.
And I heard through the grapevine, I think through the Discord, Ghostbusters Discord, of which we're partners, by the way. Anyway, uh, yeah, I think somebody was saying they were developing a fan edit where they were pulling the deleted scenes from the physical release, and they were trying to edit them all back into the film. Uh, and I was like, yeah, man, I'd love to see that cut, especially like even the little scene where uh
Gruberson?
they're asking Lars
Oh,
about, do we have any new weapons? He's like, oh yeah, we got a bleep ton of weapons now. And I was like, y'all should have left that in too. Why did you leave that out? Like, there's so much good stuff
But
left out of that.
there had to be more because even like when they were doing, people were visiting the sets. I mean, the slime blowers were doing more. They were shooting. I mean, they have that. They have like little scenes of just the slime.
Yeah, you're sitting there looking at it, and you're like, "There's no way you developed that prop for a 5 second scene in the background." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there had to have been something where somebody got sprayed, and they're like, "I love you, man." No,
Yes.
I do. I love you. You know.
Scotty says, yeah, those were engineered for 0 degrees Kelvin. Pac-Man says it's nice in South Dakota because it gets cold.
Oh yeah, I imagine the parkas are probably wonderful for places that it actually gets cold. I'm still
Yeah.
talking about to this day developing, getting with the company to make custom flight suits that have the side panels leading into the back flaps completely removed and replaced with khaki mesh so that our flight suits can breathe during the summer. So we get some
Hey,
air going on underneath here. You know what I mean?
it's exactly what we're missing. Some ventilation.
All right.
Absolutely. All right. I think it's time for our giveaway. What do you say, Rob?
Yeah, I think we're good.
If
All right.
Pukey doesn't get too nervous and throw up on Ted before.
Okay. So for anybody who's not aware, at the Ernie Hudson fundraiser event this past weekend, we actually 3D printed and hand painted this Pukey
Is that the files from Germany?
right
Yes.
here.
Yeah, they were very generous with that. That was awesome of them.
Shout out to Kirk, who did an incredible job with the paint, and shout out to the boss man for signing Pukey here. I'm gonna be very
Nice.
careful with him because I don't want to break him right before we give him away. All right, here we go. We raised $120 in the raffle.
Awesome.
So thank you to everybody who participated and donated to the cause. Everybody who donated is now being shown on the prize wheel.
Wow.
We're just gonna spin it once. We're gonna spin it once, and whoever it lands on, we will contact you after the show. So good luck to everybody, and again, thank you to everybody who donated to the raffle. We appreciate you all. I mean, a few of them are actually going to be future team members.
Nice.
Michael, Leslie, that you guys are wonderful. Can't wait to see you guys at our next event. But good luck to everybody. Here we go for the autographed Pukey, printed and hand painted by the Ghostbusters of San Antonio. The winner is
It's all in the hands of Gozer now.
Elisa Galloway. You are the winner of the Ghostbusters of San Antonio Pukey. We will contact
Nice.
you shortly after the stream is over and figure out a way to get him to you. But again, thank you to everybody who participated. You're all amazing. We've already made the donation to the Puppy Food Bank, and they're so appreciative. They had a great time. And I cannot forget this. If you still would like if you're in the San Antonio area and you would still like to get involved with the fundraiser, it's very simple. You can go to any Rudy's barbecue, make a $10 contribution, and you're going to get a voucher for $15 of free food plus 2 free drinks at the $22 value just for making a $10 contribution, and that voucher is for your next visit. This promotion runs through March 16th of this year, and all the proceeds benefit the Puppy Food Bank. So, put your wallet where your mouth is. Is that what
There's
people say?
also, I believe Yellow Rose. I don't know if they're still doing it now or not, but they were running their own fundraiser from what I heard for Puppy Food Bank. I don't know the details on that. You'd have to ask Alex. And our franchise also, we have one of those meta fundraisers open on Instagram right now for Puppy Food Bank as well. So if you can't if you're nowhere near Texas, if you're in another state or anything like that, and you still want to help out, you can also donate to that on our Instagram. You just look for the post where we originally announced Ernie's participation for that weekend, and there should be a fundraiser link attached there, and you just donate straight to it, and all those funds go straight to Puppy Food Bank. Nobody else handles it, so.
Absolutely. Yeah, there you go. So, Ghostbusters Texas Rangers Division, if you want to make a donation through there, you can. Yellow Rose has their own going on right now. And if you just want to go directly to the Puppy Food Bank website, that link is in the chat. If you missed it, puppyfoodbank.org.
But if you want free barbecue, you go to Rudy's.
But if you want free barbecue, you go to Rudy's. And Ernie loved the barbecue. He had a good time chowing down on the barbecue. Shout out to the San Antonio Nerd Coalition head
Yeah,
honcho here in the photo, and then to the right, that is the San Antonio's newest member, William Pittman, who
that's awesome.
we actually meant to patch into the group months ago because he's just that incredible of a person. And once we found out that Ernie's coming to town, it's like, oh, we actually need to do it then and there. So
Yeah,
Will got in line, took a photo with Ernie. He got an action figure autographed, and then Rob was manning the camera. He was actually video recording, not taking a photo. I jumped in and I told Ernie, I said, Ernie, I've known Will for 20 years now. We went to high school together, and is one of the best guys I know. And we we're so impressed with him. He's a great member to the team. He helps out so much, and we would really appreciate it if you would actually do the honors of patching him into the group for us. And Ernie, being Ernie, he was like, of course. And so he gave Will a pep talk.
oh, I'm sorry I missed that.
Gave him his patch, and it's doubly important because Will's gone through um, he's gone through a lot in the last couple of weeks, and we've just been supporting him through some stuff. And so it was a loss in the family that he experienced, and it was really
Oh,
hard
that's
on him.
unfortunate.
And he needed that weekend. That weekend really helped lift him up a little bit, and we're just happy that he was willing to come out, and that Ernie was willing to be a part of that process. And yeah, it couldn't happen to a better guy. Will, shout out to Will. A few more pictures from just festivities over the weekend. You know, got a replica of an ecto, just everybody walking around, and it's
I thought
beautiful.
about letting Kyle know about this event too, but I didn't bother mentioning it to him because there was already an Ecto that was going to be here. I figured we'd end up piling the parking lot up with 59 Cadillacs if we started getting too many people.
That'd been perfect.
Huh?
That'd have been perfect. You should have done it. Told him
I
thunder.
mean, it is a bit of a hassle for him to drag that car around, so.
I do have to tell you, Ted. I know that we just talked about Will getting patched in, and you know, like we talked about, we're grateful that Ernie comes, and we actually had Ernie patch in some members this summer as well.
I
Ted,
did get to see that. That was amazing.
Ted, we got some members they didn't know, and then
That was the best part.
not only Will, but after we got Will done, Kirk and his wife, who are new members to the team, we've been wanting to patch them as well. But he is in the Coast Guard, so he's not always here. He goes back and forth when he gets sent out. But luckily, he was here for this event, and I did the same thing. Said, "Let me take your picture. I'll take your picture. I'll go up there together." And I put on record, and I got Scott, because I'm not really a talker that much. I got Scott out there and said, Scott, and we got Ernie did the same thing. And gave him some words. Are you going to be, and patched him in. And it's so grateful that he'll willing to do things like that for us. So
Yeah, he's a very good sport about that. The moment I watched, because I was just there for the panel, watching the panel after they had us basically like escort him on the stage more or less. And then they're like, okay, you can go now. So we went down and we watched what else was going on, and they stopped them, and I was like, wait, what's going on? And then I saw that he was patching them, and I was like, no! I was sitting there going, I was like, oh, my inner child is so jealous right now. Bro, I was like, God, like I would have died if that would have been me, like, joining a franchise and it was Ernie doing it. I would have been like, I'm so happy, you know. I would have been a wreck. I'd have been a mess, grown man crying, coming off the stage.
I
What?
I would I would have been the same, and um, Barlow, who got patched in, bless him for thinking so quick on his feet, because Ernie said, what do you got to say about joining? And he responded with, if there's a steady paycheck in it,
Yeah.
I'll do whatever you want. And I'm like, oh my God, that's
And he
just
was like, my man.
the perfect response. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would not have been able to think on my feet in
Yeah,
that
I'd have been,
moment.
I'm gonna do a good job.
I
You
like
know,
Ghostbusters.
I like
Buster makes me feel good.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, I would have been a mess. Val says yes to ventilation. Let's see. Bryce says nice
To ventilated
kitty.
suits, I know it sounds amazing, doesn't it? Like when I first thought of it, I was like, this needs to get done. We need to make these.
Scotty says this little guy is most definitely stellar. It is a piece of art, and actually, I think, he says love it, Teddy. He says good going. GG's, good going. Congratulations. Take care of my baby, says Pika. San Antonio Nerd Collision, just talking about you, man. What's up, fellas? Keep up the good work. Congrats to Will. Thanks for everything, Ted. Thank you, Bryce. Scotty says, can't believe how many Texas franchises were there. Absolutely. What was I gonna say? Oh,
It makes me wanna, like, if we could do that last minute, it makes me wanna, like, we should plan like a big
that's
Texas get together, all of us.
we had some discussions, especially with Alex Spence, about doing something very early stages, and then this just came out of nowhere. So this
Left field. Yeah.
came out of left field, and we're like, we got to do something. So this, yes, the Pukey raffle, we enjoyed it so much, and it turned out so great that I feel like every time we have something kind of like this occur, and we're raising money for Puppy Food Bank or our regular organizations here in San Antonio, we might do the same thing. So be on the
Good
lookout
idea.
if you want to help support us and support the causes that we are passionate about. We will have more giveaways and more ways that you can help and win something in the process.
And Nick, you said earlier about Dan coming. Me and Ted have kind of pushed around, like, when we tried to see if he could come down for Crystal Head Vodka, because we were like,
Yeah, you got to hook him through the vodka now. You got to hook him through that route, otherwise he's not going to do anything.
he tried with the Kung Fu Saloon, but because they have to use his vodka, that it's just we couldn't get it to work out, because we were like, oh, we could use this. That would be a perfect venue to
Yeah,
have. You know,
absolutely.
um, he was here 2 years ago, so maybe.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was here for Blues Brothers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I heard about that, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to be that butthead that shows up at the concert that just wants 2 seconds with him. You know what I mean? And when he's there to perform a show and leave. You know what I mean? So the one that kicks me is a very long time ago when I was a very young buster and didn't even really have a proton pack yet. Back when I had an inflatable one. uh, Dan came down when Crystal Head Vodka was brand new, like fresh, and did a signing in Dallas. And I think I was working at like Taco Bell still or something. And it was either go to work or uh, risk getting fired and go and meet Dan the Man Aykroyd. And I was like, I can't go, I can't, like, because like it would be, I would lose too much money. One, back when I was making like 6 something an hour, and risk losing the job, but there is not a day that goes by that I am not kicking myself in the head for not seizing the opportunity to go see him, because people I knew at the time were posting photos of meeting him, and I was like, that could have been me. That could have been me. So like, yeah, and I would like to convey my feelings to the man on this wonderful idea that he had that has changed so many of our lives before he departs this earth, because otherwise I may have to start trying to get him through seances and whatnot. Uh, so
Yeah, I have a cousin. When he came to San Antonio, he has one of the skulls signed, and he tells me,
nice.
"I got this skull signed. You want to buy it from me?" And I'm like, "Well, I've met him twice. I think I'm okay."
You're like, you know what? I've met the man. It's all right.
I was lucky enough one of the people to go to Ghostbusters, the fan fest they had in California a couple years ago.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it was really cool going to that.
That's nice.
And we thought that would be like an annual thing, and hasn't turned out that way, unfortunately, or
Yeah.
somewhat like every 5 years maybe, but yeah, hasn't
Oh, it popped
really
up.
turned out that way.
I'm waiting to see what else they do with the franchise. Like, I'm looking forward to this animated show they're gonna put out. Can't wait to see how well that's gonna go. And I don't know. I've heard rumblings here and there of them possibly toying with a live action show. The idea of a live action show, which if they do a live action show and they start it with it being franchises instead of just the one in New York, man, then the way I see it, we're all canon at that point. We're all part of the universe. So what's this art piece you got up?
So Cedric, who was the Houston Ghostbuster that barely made it to the end of the Ernie Hudson event, he actually sent this over because he was talking about it earlier. This is his painting that he mentioned in the chat. It is
That's amazing.
5 feet by 4 feet. It's an acrylic painting, and that's a self-portrait of him on the left. Cedric, you have some skills, my man.
That's really nice.
This looks
That is wild. I
amazing.
thought that was a photo of the Kenner figure, and that's painted. Like, wow.
Now, watch out with that Kidder figure, because so Chris in our group was looking to get stuff signed by Ernie, and he was like, he went and bought the real Ghostbuster Funko Pop that came out of him, and
Oh yeah.
you might not want him to get signed that, because there's this whole thing where he didn't like that, because he tried out for the role and he got
And they said he didn't sound like Winston, which is wild.
I'm like, how do you not pick the guy that's in the movie? That makes no sense to me. So
It just goes back to some things that he said before about how the studio was back then, and how he was saying, the boys were always very welcoming and inclusive as much as they could be, but the studios made the final decisions on a lot of things, and we all just had to sit down and roll with it if we wanted the movie to get made. And he said, and unfortunately, I was on the chopping block for a lot of that. One of the biggest things to me that blows my mind to this day is looking at the courtroom scene in Ghostbusters 2. He's right there.
and
He's even in the audience behind them as they're on trial. Then magically, when the ghost shows up, he's not there.
like they say,
Where the hell did he go?
Makes no sense.
He would not run.
Winston would have been the first one to the table putting the pack on, like, let's go, boys. It's time to go. Let's go. And I'm sitting there going, how is it that you had him blocked for that scene? Literally, you already had it set up to where he was in the scene, and then you just cut him completely out of it. And it's like, and I know it wasn't Ivan. I know it wasn't Bill. I know it wasn't Dan. I know it wasn't Harold. You know what I mean? It wasn't any of them. It was like a studio call where they were like, you know what? It makes me almost wonder, like, is there a version of that scene that got filmed at some point where Ernie was in there and they just cut it out? Of course, then again, I don't think Ernie's ever mentioned that he was in that scene, but beyond what we've seen on film already. But yeah, and just like the fact that he wasn't even in the original poster, the fact that he was technically supposed to be brought in a little bit earlier, but he wasn't because Eddie Murphy didn't end up being Winston,
Yeah.
you know, because he was signed on for Beverly Hills Cop. So they were like, okay, well then I guess he's just our token black guy for the film now. Like,
Well, that's like Justin Barlow that's in our group. He had a DVD, the still DVD signed that he had, because on the front of it, he's not on it. Well, he's on it, but he's like in the car, and like so you don't see him. And then his name isn't on the DVD either. So
yeah, he's not one of the title actors that they put
Terrible.
on there, which is ridiculous. He's one of the four.
Gonna have the DVD fixed, and he took it to him to have him sign it to fix it so that his name is actually on it.
Nice.
Bravo.
I've seen people redo the original poster too, where they included Ernie and everything, and I was like, that's pretty cool. You know, that's why I loved when they announced that, you know, well, not announced, but I should say, you know, they made it into the canon that he went into finance and made a fortune, and then he's the owner of Ghostbusters now, like he's the CEO. To me, that's the perfect, you know, perfect story. Like you literally went in there looking for a paycheck, you know, if there's a steady paycheck, and you went from that to owning the entire company. And that's where I argue, if there was ever a time lore wise for you to start exploring other franchises, it's now, because you have a millionaire slash billionaire behind the company now in lore. He can afford to let people franchise out and, you know, start purchasing equipment and everything, you know, with the newer packs like what you got behind you and everything and stuff like that, which I still to this day think it looks like an ugly piece of sin, but that's my personal opinion. You know what I mean? I just there's a few things that I like about it that I'm like, oh, that's neat, and then I see the bent ion arm, and I'm like, practically, I understand what you were doing. Practically, I understand. However, it's ugly looking as all get out. You know, just like,
You know,
like,
I don't, Nick. I tell you the one thing. I was gonna flip it back to the original, and I had a couple people don't, because you don't see many.
You don't catch it on anything.
Well, no, I the weekend before I broke the bumper. The
You
bumper
did.
out the door when we were at a birthday party, and
Oh, the tri bumper, you broke it?
yeah, this part right here. Like there was,
Yeah.
and it broke off right at going from a birthday party. But
Wow.
people in the group tell me not to flip it back because you don't see many Frozen Empire, you know, packs.
You really don't, because a lot of us looked at it and we were like, that ain't it, dog. Like we were like, we appreciate what you're doing. We get it. It's a health and safety pack now. We understand, but at the same time, we were like, should have left it alone. But then again, though, like if you're gonna franchise out, if you're gonna be a big business like that, if Winston wants to turn this into a global business, you have to follow OSHA stuff. So in order to do that, you're gonna have to have a version of the pack that looks like that one. And then, you know, for our future web series, shameless plug, you're gonna have where we're just like, oh, you know, we don't need to worry about all that health and safety junk, you know, down here. It's Texas. They're not gonna be that worried about it, you know, type deal and everything. But yeah, it's an eyesore, that new pack. So there's some things about it that I'm like, why did you move this? You know, like the whole hydrogen canister thing. Like they completely removed that so that they could segment the entire ribbon cable, and I'm like, why?
Oh, it's a lot.
And then
I didn't do.
yeah, you segmented the entire ribbon cable into individual wires going into the back of the pack, and then you get rid of the hydrogen canister, and then suddenly move it to where it's like kind of sort of coming out of underneath where the clippered valve is now, and I'm just like, Egon would be rolling over in his grave right now, you know.
Yeah, I like the idea of the franchises though, like lore wise. I've said start a UK chapter. Your first two members are Simon Pegg and Nick Frost.
Oh my god.
They need to be in that UK chapter. And
I'd throw so much money at it. I'd throw so much money at it.
It's a match made in heaven. And if Gil or Jason ever sees this part of this stream for any reason at all, like Frozen Empire was absolutely like what people expected and wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But the potential has still not been reached for this franchise
Hmm.
as a whole, and so like there can and there should be like an epic sort of high stakes component to a future movie out there somewhere. And I'm not saying like high stakes like the world is in peril because that's already happened before, but
Several times
stakes.
and always in New York. So
Yeah. You can multiply the number of ghosts by however many. We've not seen that in this
hmm
context. Like Afterlife, sure, we saw a lot of ghosts, but they weren't involved in any sort of way. Or if you up the ante on the number of Ghostbusters, however you can pull that off, if it's more than 2 franchises, if it's 10, if it's 20, something like that coming together. Like this franchise as a whole, Ghostbusters, there's still a lot of untapped potential there, and they need to keep just progressing in the right direction, and we'll get there eventually. But
hmm
we're not there quite yet.
like I feel
Scotty in
like
the
if they,
chat. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go with the chat first.
Scotty says Mr. Hudson is absolutely the best, and also to kind of prove that, this is a photo of him.
Oh yeah,
He
I
was
saw that. That was
signing
wonderful.
our member Susan. She's got a fantastic Ghostbuster Ecto, and he autographed it. And before you say something like, "Why would you get him to autograph a car?" She's already sealed it, so it's there, and it's already sealed with a sealer, and so it's there forever. It's not going anywhere. He absolutely loved it, um, and yeah, it's just perfect.
It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. So shout out to Susan who got her car
For sure.
autographed.
Yeah,
Finally, she loved it.
her husband did all the details on that. Like,
That's nice.
and as soon as she got home, he already had it sealed. Like, he was ready.
That's awesome. That's perfect. Back to the thought we were talking about the franchises and everything. One of the things that I was thinking is like the best way for me, and nothing ever ends up happening exactly the way you want it in Hollywood, unfortunately. But I feel like powers that be, Jason, especially because you listen to the fans and you and Gil, understand how much this means to all of us and what a difference your father made in all of our lives and everything. If by chance you ever heard or watched this, or if it got passed to you by somebody, have the next film end at the very least where you're talking about other franchises, about how they're starting somewhere. Like you don't have to necessarily go and explore them all, or if you don't want to, but talk about like at the very end about how the other franchises are starting, and then in the end credits, it's photos of all of us, all of us from our different franchises all over the world. Because at that point,
Woo!
you have made us canon. You have given it back to the fans
Mm.
completely, and you're saying we're ambassadors for it and everything. You know what I mean? Like to me, that would just be like we would all come out of the theater crying our eyes out if something like that happened because we'd be like, they acknowledged us. You know what I mean? Just like and just to me, I think it would be a beautiful moment because the meaning of it is it's an idea Dan came up with, that they just
Mhm.
wanted to make a film out of because they're passionate about film and passionate about comedy and passionate about what they did. And then now it's blown up into this thing where you have franchises all over the world making a difference in the name of this comedy film you guys made in 1984.
Mm.
And what better way than, to, I guess, finally christen it, for every future generation that might come after it that falls in love with the fandom by saying or by acknowledging, that all of us and what we do are a valid part of what makes it alive today. You know what I mean? and everything. I don't know. I think the whole deep meaning behind all of that would be amazing for so many people, and really solidify this franchise in ways that other popular culture media has never been uh, solidified for other people before. Because like, how often do you hear of a franchise like just kind of making the fans ambassadors of what it is and everything?
Yeah,
You know,
it's not even possible, right? In any other franchise, it's not possible for it to happen in like Marvel. You can't canonize your fans as
yeah,
heroes.
you can't do it like that. It
You
just
can't do
wouldn't
it in
work.
DC. You can't really do it in Star Wars, even though they borrow fans for like
Right.
costumes and onset and extras and stuff. Fantastic that they bring in
Hmm.
groups as stormtroopers, and we have some friends that have done it before, but you can't
Yeah.
canonize the fans as part of the galaxy far, far away. So
And the
yeah, no,
whole thing about Ghostbusters is anybody can be a Ghostbuster. Winston proved that. You know what I
anybody.
mean? Anybody can walk in and be a Ghostbuster at that point. And that
Yeah,
with them presenting the idea of franchises in the first film out of the mouth of Venkman himself, you know what I mean? To me, they were opening a can of worms they had no idea was even going to be a can of worms in that first film. They just thought it was a funny ad lib by Bill Murray, you know what I mean, at the time, and then they sealed their fates with that one line, you know what I mean, type deal. Because then they inspired the rest of us nerds to be like, well, we can be a franchise then, can't we?
I love it, and you already have some fans in the chat who love it. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. Honestly, I think that'd be incredible. Uh,
Stop it.
Scotty's also laughing about OSHA. No elbow pads on the black engineer flight suits. No, there are not. I don't even wear
Because
elbow pads.
technically they're not field agents, they're more lab people.
Yeah,
That's why they don't wear them.
They're
I
and
just
imagine if they went out into the field, they'd put them on, but
more power to you guys who wear the elbow pads. I don't know why, but I'm so constricted, and yeah, it's the worst. Maybe it's just a Texas thing. Like wearing additional layers in Texas is never a good idea. So
they can suck after a while. I've got a pair of the Magnoli uh, elbow pads when they did the first gen run of them where they were all one size, and I put them on for the first time, and I was like, bro, no. I was like, these are gonna cut off my circulation. These are horrible. I stretched them out quite a bit because I had to wrap them over a couple big bottles we had in the house and let them sit for a few days because there was no way they were going to work otherwise. And since then, they've of course started selling them in different sizes. But yeah, I mean, it's just after a while, man, your arms. I've taken them off and had red marks
yes,
going here on my elbows on the inside. And
yep,
you're just like, what have I done? Matter
and
of
it's
fact,
not.
there's one still there from last weekend, right there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say they don't go away for days, and
Yeah.
sometimes they get itchy or irritated. So I'm like, I'll skip the elbow pads this time around.
Mm-mm.
Scotty says, Rob, your pack plates are the best thing ever to capture autographs. And what he's talking about
Pack plates, you say?
are these 3D printed plates that look somewhat official. It's hard to see. It's a little
Oh
blurry.
yeah, they look like a permit or something, right?
It looks like a permit, it's like a registration sticker. And Ernie signed mine. It has my name on it. It has the serial number from the HasLab pack on it. It has
Nice.
San Antonio on here. It has it has an address, not our address, but yeah, it's fantastic. Even says it's issued in 2025, and it's a great idea. I think he got it from some other teams that have done it, and you just either glue or double-sided tape, something adhesive you put on
It's a
your
pretty
pack,
cool idea.
and it's great. It's great for anybody who doesn't know what to get signed, or maybe have everything else already signed. Go get yourself one of
Reminds me, I
those.
need to I need to clear coat my signatures of Ernie and McKenna that I have on my motherboard on my pack. I need to get them sealed for sure.
Yeah.
I just want to. I reached out to a seller on Etsy for that. So one of the guys in the group, like 2 weeks ago, we're at the library, and when Ernie was here this summer, he had bought one and had one of the guys had Susan in the group get it signed for him because he wasn't going to be there.
Hmm.
So he showed it to me. I was like, "Oh, that's amazing! I love it." You know, like it's off because I always wanted to put something on my pack and have him sign it, but be able to take it off because I'm always doing things like my Ghostbuster 2 pack. I'm always fiddling with it or whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
and I painted it multiple times, and I don't want to have to worry about that. So I asked him like, "Where'd you get it?" I reached out to the seller that as soon as we found out Friday night, I think Saturday or Sunday, I reached out to him. And he's like, "Yeah, I probably could have it to you," but it didn't sound like he's like, "I have to rush it. I have to make it this weekend." And I was like, "I don't know if I'm gonna have this by Friday." So I was like, I saw his design, and I was like, "You know what? I can probably do that. Let me try to see if I can 3D print it." And
Mm-hmm.
I used his design. Shout out to him. I was looking for his sticker, and I shout out to him um, that for
Oh, you're talking about the guy that does the original labels of the
yeah.
print that you have. Yeah, yeah, I've seen those float around too. They're neat. They're little like autograph labels.
Yeah, I made one kind of based off of his and print
Mm-hmm.
both, and just I it was and luckily I got actually two of them inside myself. One um, for my son, I put his name on it, and I got one that
Mm-hmm.
my name on it and got it signed. Um, and then I printed another one because hopefully we're gonna meet Bill in March again. So we'll see. I mean, I know we're gonna meet him. I know.
Is that for the concert that he's doing in Austin or
So
Yeah.
something?
we got to meet him
Yeah,
last year, and I didn't get anything signed. I was too starstruck. I mean, a couple of the members, Ted was there. Ted got something signed by him. Chris in the group, and then some Austin members. They
I'd
got
love to get him on my pack, but
yeah. So, but yeah. So hopefully I'll print another one, and maybe he'll sign it. We'll see. You never know.
It was almost a year to the day that we met Bill and Ernie,
Yeah.
a year apart. It was like a year, exactly a year and like a few days that we had separated those two. So yeah, what a wild weekend. I'm gonna try and go back to the chapters that were here and just give them one final shout out. Val in the
oh
chat
yeah,
says, "Thank you, Ghostbusters San Antonio." We want to thank you guys. We know that it wasn't a ton of time that we gave everybody. We tried to just make sure that everybody had the most amount of time possible, and you guys made it an incredible time, and it was a great turnout, and we raised money towards a great cause, and we did it together. We did it absolutely
mm.
together, and it was fantastic. So again, one more time, shout out to the Austin Ghostbusters, the Yellow Rose Ghostbusters, the Lubbock Ghostbusters, especially for driving 6 hours. You guys are
Yeah,
awesome. um the Gateway City Ghostbusters, the North Texas Ghostbusters, the Bayou City Ghostbusters, Real West Texas Ghostbusters, Cedric with the Houston Ghostbusters, Recto One, and of course Nick with the Ghostbusters Texas Rangers division. So glad you guys made it down.
of
I'm
course.
glad everybody had a blast. Thank you all so much for making the trip. You all made it very special, and it was to this day the largest
Gathering of Texas
gathering.
franchises for sure. Yeah,
Absolutely. It just made it all that more special, and it was just great. It's just great looking around and seeing so many flight suits in one place,
sea
from
of
all over
khaki,
the
as I
state.
like to call it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Val says thank you, Ghost for San Antonio, but thank you, Val, and everybody else for making the trip. You guys made it completely worth it. Um, couldn't have done it without all you guys there. There's guys helping out, taking photos of people, um, raising money, donating their money. I mean, everybody was buying food. Part of that goes towards the food bank. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just all around a great success, and everybody had a great time. And we couldn't ask for anything more. We couldn't ask for better weather and just everyone making it safely and having a great time. We're really appreciative of everybody who made it out, and we'll do it again soon. I don't know when, but we'll figure it out and we'll make it happen.
That'll be
I don't
fun.
know, Ghostbusters Day. somewhere indoors, hopefully, because it's in June.
If we could do our own Ghostbusters Day in Texas for those of us who still can't quite afford to make it out to New York yet, yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe converge on
Because,
Austin or something.
yeah, I still have to make the pilgrimage, and I still haven't been able to.
Eugene, start planning. Start cleaning the house, Eugene. We're coming over. Ghostbusters Day 2025.
Let's all just show up. Don't tell them. You know,
We're here. Ted told us to show up. 11 chapters, just roll up into this
right?
driveway. We're all here.
What's going on?
All right. Well, listen, this has been an incredible stream. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all the comments. Everybody who participated in the event this past weekend. Just all around, I'm so lucky to be a part of this community, these franchises. It's just absolutely just it's overwhelming, and it's wonderful every time we do something like this. And the sky's the limit. I tell everybody every time something like this happens, in numbers, there's nothing we can't do. That's proven by the toy drive that we just completed as a
Mm-hmm.
entire nation that participated, and now this fundraiser that we did in a week that we helped and everybody came down for. If you're a chapter and you're watching this, our next like major charity campaign is going to be our school supply drive, which will probably start kicking off late April. We'll start talking about it and like having conversations and communicating and talking about best practices. But between now and the end of the school year, the best thing you can do is start thinking about who your beneficiaries are going to be, reaching out to schools and asking for school supplies list. We actually don't ask for a student supply list. We ask for teacher supply list because we like to help our teachers out.
That's a
So
great idea.
yeah, we actually get supplies for teachers because
Mm-hmm.
they need help too.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, government has not raised education support or funding in the last 5 years. That's what I found
Ooh.
out recently. And imagine your boss not giving you a raise for 5 years with all the inflation and everything has gotten more expensive. So for teachers to not get a raise in 5 years, especially in our state,
Yeah.
our governor does not like helping public schools by any means.
I
And
mean, the
that's not a political
minimum.
thing. That's just a fact. He
Yeah,
hasn't
it's
given
more to
any
what you're
funding.
saying, Ted. Like the minimum wage, like has been the same for over 10 years in this state. So yeah, if you think about that, and then you think about teachers
Yeah.
at the same time not having any raise of any kind. I mean, everybody, as long as I've remembered, even when I was a kid, my own teachers, in Arizona were struggling,
Yeah.
you know. So it's
And
it's
and
it's been a
I have a
constant
lot of
thing.
teachers in my family. I have a principal in my family, and that's the school we helped out. So we got a list and we just gave all these supplies, over
It's a
300
great idea.
supplies, I think, Rob.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a great
300
idea.
supplies just to teachers, and they need the help because all of that comes out of their pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody gives them money for their supplies. They got to do that all
Mm-hmm.
by themselves. They got to decorate their classrooms by themselves. But it's all time and money coming out of their pockets, and they're not getting any raises or any funding for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
And now,
that's an idea out there for chapters that want to participate, and we will talk to folks and talk to chapters. And come summer, we'll try and get a few dozen chapters involved, and we'll see what we can pull off.
and now
Definitely a good cause.
one of the best things for when we drop those off is that we get to be there when the kids come in and them seeing us and you getting to take pictures and then
Oh yeah.
helps them be excited for the day as well. So I mean that's not everybody wants to get up and go to school, but if you go to school and you have someone visit like us and
Man, if I had a Ghostbuster show up at my school that day, I'd be hyped for the whole day. Like, man, you show up with your little real Ghostbusters lunchbox and Ecto Cooler High C little juice
Oh my god.
box. Because, yes, I had both when
yeah,
I was a kid. And then you show up and there's an actual Ghostbuster there. We would have lost my mind. I would have
Exactly.
lost my mind for the whole day.
The best reactions were the ones were the kids that were like still half asleep, like walking through the door and they're seeing Ghostbusters. It's
I
like,
can
am I
see
still
it.
dreaming?
Like, wait, what?
What's going
What
on?
is what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for this live stream of the Ghost Heads Radio Show. My many thanks to Rob and Nick for joining. And again, thanks to
Of
all the
course.
chapters that participated this past weekend who made the long trip and who helped support a cause that is now supported by Ernie Hudson. If you're just joining us, he is now the ambassador of the Puppy Food Bank. You can go to puppyfoodbank.org to learn how you can help support the cause. And our hope is that Ernie will be making more appearances across the country throughout the year in support of the Puppy Food Bank and raising funds for their charity. We will keep anybody involved. We will keep you guys in the loop if something like that does come up, or if there's any ways that more chapters can get involved. So stay tuned. And again, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for all the comments, and congrats again to our winner of Pukey. I'm gonna go ahead and send you. It's probably late. I'll probably call you tomorrow. Thanks everybody for watching. What a week! What a weekend. Nick, why don't you tell the folks at home what's like the next thing you guys got going on up there in the north?
Oh boy. So there's one thing that we have in the works that hasn't been confirmed yet that we're trying to get taken care of.
Oh.
One of our members, Melissa, who was in chat, mentioned an idea for this charity event some time ago, and it was a little too late for us to do it last year. But this year I started looking further into it, and if we get approval to wear our gear for it, we're going to try and fundraise to do a stair climb for Reunion Tower for the Fight for Air campaign for the American Lung Association. They'll
Wow.
only let you participate in that, though, if you've raised a certain amount of money, depending on how many people are participating. So what we plan to do is, if we got approved for our equipment, we start fundraising it immediately. And if we make our goal, we'll do every one of those rows of stairs with our packs on. It will not be at a fast pace, I will tell you that, but we will do. And we were going to challenge every other franchise across the nation to do it as well, because and I know it's rough. I know it's a hard ask, because I thought about it and I was like, you know what, this would be hilarious, but we would be dead by the time we get to the top.
I still have my Spirit 80% pack. I'll throw that bad boy on and go
I
up them steps.
mean, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I know I'm gonna wear my 35 pounder and I'm gonna hate every minute of it. And but you know, I mean, it's for a good cause, and I thought it would be hilarious because it's all based on that one scene from the first film.
Yep.
Where they barely got to like the teens and were already ready to die with their equipment on. What else do we have? Oh, Starlight Children's Foundation managed to run a successful campaign. And this is going to be an exclusive for Ghost Heads Radio again as well. They got a successful campaign for their newest version of the Ghostbusters uniform gowns. And we were very honored and privileged enough to have been contacted by them and asked them, they asked us if there was a local hospital we would like to give the gowns to, of which we immediately contacted Children's Medical Center of Dallas, and they said they would send them 50 gowns. So March 6th, we're going to be presenting the gowns to the hospital, probably not directly to the patients, but yeah, so we're very honored and privileged to have been thought of for that, for what we did as part of the gown campaign and everything. So we get to present 50 of those gowns to that hospital, which are very well deserving for everything they do for the kiddos in the Dallas area. So there's that as well. That's all we've got planned so far. Further events in the works, but there's absolutely zero confirmation on them as of now. We're going to be at Retro Expo later on in this year in July. That one's confirmed. some other events and whatnot. We don't have confirmation of them yet, so we can't speak on them until we know for a fact we're going to be there. So
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Thanks again to everybody for checking us out. Go to the Facebook page of the Texas Rangers Division, the Ghostbusters Texas Rangers Division. That way you can find out how you can buy some of their updated merch. Congratulations on your second anniversary.
oh,
I
there you
was
go.
told we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary
Oh.
this year. 11?
Goodness.
2014 is when we started, so it'd be 11 years.
11
Wow.
years 11 years for us, and I know that we have some stuff in the works that we'll announce soon, but a call out to all the chapters: if you're crazy enough to participate in our Fiesta night parade, that's the only bonus. Is it's in April, but it's at night. um, Light up your proton packs, throw on any lights or light up materials you want to, and walk with us the 3.5 mile route. And I can't promise you that it will be fun the entire time, but if you've never experienced anything like over 500,000 people cheering for you, and kids just their minds getting blown that they're witnessing Ghostbusters in real life.
Mm.
It truly is a fantastic and quite an astonishing experience. So this is a open invitation to all chapters. We don't know for sure that we can promise you can bring your cars in the parade, but if you are more than willing to walk with us on the route, you don't have to wear the packs if you want to. I won't blame you guys, but I promise you it'll be completely worth it if anyone's willing to do that. That's in April. We'll get you the official date when it's announced.
April
But say it again.
April 20. Yeah, April 26th. Wait, no, not that one. I'm looking at our Flambeau, May 3rd.
May 3rd. Wow, it's never
Third.
gone that late.
Yeah,
Crazy.
the last thing for Fiesta. So that's the
Might be a
last.
little hot by then.
Again, like I said, it's at night.
Yeah.
We'll get those vents in the suits by then.
Right, right. I mean, I'm telling you, man, make a difference.
Awesome. Thanks everybody for watching. You guys are amazing. We will see you next time. Also, if you want to see the rest of my one-on-one interview with Ernie Hudson, you can do that by visiting the website below, countdowncitygeeks.com. It's a short interview. It's roughly 2-3 minutes, but in it, he talks about the food bank. He talks about what it means to be a Ghostbuster and to, provide a service to your community. And he's just the best. And he's on a cruise right now, so shout out to Ernie and his wife Linda. Hopefully, they're having a great time, relaxing it up there, and hopefully, we'll see him again very soon. All right, thank you everybody again for watching. This is Ted at K-Steady with the Ghost Heads Radio Show. See you next time.